You're listening to a Countout Podcast.
What it is, what's up, and welcome everyone to another Okada short episode of G Wondering. That's right, we're covering G1 Climax 33, night by night, bite by bite, piece by piece, running it all down. And I got to tell you, man, I'm tuning in now. I'm parked up at a park in the middle of nowhere, getting this out when I can. USB microphone provided to me by Sennheiser. Thank you, guys. And, dude, I am feeling good right now. We've hit night 9, and let me tell you, in the pickems contest, your boy is riding high after having every single one of my combatants win and everybody else taking nothing but donuts. Well, that's not all the way true. There was a draw, but who cares? It took me massively ahead. So let's run down the matches real quick for you all. It was from Thursday night, July the 27th, from Oda City General Gymnasium. We opened up with match 1. It was Shota Umino versus Chase Owens, hitting him with that Death Rider after 9.5 minutes. There's been a lot of discourse online about Chase and if he should be in this tournament and blah-de-blah and all that. I'm kind of bored of the conversation, really. I think the New Japan are going to do what they're going to do, because at the end of the day, they're a very loyal company, and they give things to the guys that do right by them, and by all reports, Chase does a lot of stuff behind the scenes, things like that, trading in US, things like that. I think the real question is, should somebody like Chase with tenure, and, he said that himself in his own promos when he was talking about the War Dogs, like, I've been here through all this time and stuff, is tenure enough to get you into the G1 Climax? I personally think it isn't. I don't think it is. I think it should it doesn't have to be all best of the best. Not everybody's going to be a winner. Not everyone's going to be the best, but I think opportunities need to go to those who are hungriest. And there's a few people in this competition and in this tournament that are not in that bracket, and I could do without them. So should this be Chase's G1? As it stands, probably. Has he been horrible? No. I just think there's opportunities to be found. And there's definitely a place in New Japan for those, road warriors who come along and they do the tours and they do the multi-man tags and they make up the numbers and stuff like that. Do they need to take up a place in the G1? I would say probably not. That's just my own feelings on it. Especially when you're talking about a guy like, Filthy Tom Lawler sitting at home and stuff. Obviously, Filthy Tom costs a plane flight, but so does Chase. So if you're picking between the two, that's all I'm saying. Good little match, though. Great fire from Shota. Loved him seeing get the job done, and loved taking in those 2 points into my pick'ems. Next up was Yoshihashi versus Tai Chi. This was killer, man. These two worked so well together. I really enjoyed it. Loved seeing Tai Chi pick up another win, not only because he is, again, part of my team, but just I like to see him doing really well. I want him to stay alive in this competition, and I would love to see him squeak through into a second place. Willie, I am not all the way sure, but there's still, a few bits and pieces. But I would have to think probably not. When you got Okada and Ospreay in the block and they're both riding pretty high, Probably not. But hey, both could go on losing streaks at the end, and Tai Chi's just heating up. So we'll see. But I really enjoyed it. I thought they beat the living fuck out of each other. I thought both guys enjoyed slapping the hell out of each other. And I think as well, from what commentary was saying, there's a bit of a relationship there from when Tai Chi first came over as a black saint, and he's from all Japan, and, you know, Yoshihashi's coming up in the dojo. So there's a bit of, sandpaper in that relationship that I like as well. Next up was Kaito Kiyomiya versus Gabe Kidd in a double count-out. Does a count-out draw still count as 1 point to each guy? Because, I mean, technically they both kind of lose. But you know what? We've given draws to other people, so I'm going to let the guys have it. I love this, man. Gabe has been killer in this block. I was asking Curtis who his MVPs were for each block, and he said Gabe for block A. And I would be hard-pressed to disagree. I would say probably, it's him, it's Tsuji, it's Kaido. There's some really, Umino. There's been lots of good people, but he's offering something that none of the others are here. And props to Kiyomiya for just taking that fucking headshot direct, destroying the chair. The chairs are getting a bit of a workout over it. This Hanare had punched out that other chair, which looks sick as well, on night 8. But yeah, it was a good, hard fight, and I love seeing that side of Kiyomiya, like that murder side of him that he brought out with Okada. Seeing that with him and Gabe is awesome. Are we seeing the beginnings of like an ongoing rivalry that will happen? I don't know, but I love Gabe getting on the mic being like, yo, fuck Noah. I thought that was so good. That's, in my eyes, that's babyface shit when it comes to, New Japan versus Noah. So, yeah, really good. It was that boy Loa, Tonga Loa versus Great Okan. And I was surprised to see Tonga Loa get the win here. I didn't think this was his worst match. I feel like he's picking up a little bit of steam here, warming up a little bit. But there's obviously a story going on here. Great Okan is on a losing streak. And I think there's something to be said as well for them constantly bringing up, like, especially tonight, that it was a year ago, I think they said, or whenever it was, that the United Empire was formed. Great Okan, interfered. Will Ospreay gets the win over Okada. And then now we're a year on, whatever it is, and it's like, Ospreay's riding high, man. They formed the United Empire. He's beaten Kenny Omega. He's got the US title. He just beat Okada clean, all that stuff. He doesn't seem to need anybody. He didn't really bring Okada out. It was just him, And here's Okan. He's on the downward spiral. He's been finally defeated in the land of the British. He's on a losing streak in G1. He's been beaten by Will himself, and it just keeps getting worse. So I wonder, like, even in Will's after-match comments where he was talking to the crowd, he was like, normally I have Okan or Hanare or Cobb as my second. He's like, you were my second. The people were my second. That's a real babyface thing to do. And I just keep flashing back to after he had been beaten by Ospreay and Okan just looking up at him, and there was this kind of anger in his eyes that, he dispels, but it's there. I wonder if this is the beginning of a heel turn here for Okan, whether we're seeing the seeds of, like, you only got to do all this because of me, and now I'm on the downswing. Everything's going well for you. You don't appreciate us. The United Empire has never been less united. Maybe you're not needed in it anymore. That's all I'm thinking. That's maybe the way we're heading here. Next up was Hikuleo versus Yota Tsuji. Now, when I saw these two in the ring together, Yota Tsuji presents so big that I could not believe. Like, it looked like Hikuleo had been superimposed to be double the size of a man, because I couldn't believe the size difference between them. And, man, Tsuji made Hikuleo look like a fucking monster here. He's been picking up steam. Hikuleo's been picking up steam. And I said to Curtis when we did our preview, this is sink or swim for him. And is he the best of the young guys in the block? No, but I finally started to maybe see something here where I'm like, okay, there's something here. I'm starting to see it. But dude, Suji, man, he's the one, eh? Oh, hit the mute button. Don't know what I cut off there, but anyway, he is the one. He is him. I think he is leading a match there like an absolute veteran and making somebody look way better than he should have any right to have the experience to do. Then you look at like a couple of other guys that have fucking fought Hikuleo, the older, more tenured guys that should be making him look good, and they did fuck all for him. So I think there's something really to be said about Suji. And obviously the story they're telling there where he can't hit that spear. When he hits that spear and literally cuts some motherfucker in half, it is going to mean the world. So yeah, really dug this match. It was really cool. Next up was ELP versus Kenta. Didn't hate this one, which is surprising when you deal with a Kenta one, especially with outside brawling and all, but the history between them, the personality of ELP shines through. Some really nice exchanges. That said, I think Kenta outshone ELP a little bit in those hard strikes. I don't think ELP was laying them in enough, whereas when you wake up that beast from Kenta, he can still throw a fucking open palm slap like nobody. Enjoyed like the selly from ELP, like the DDT through the table, just standing on his own fucking head, really. But love that he picked up the win. Now, that's a couple of wins there over, ex-Bullet Club guys. Are we going to see him go on a bit of a run here? Are there some wins? Is he foiling Ospreay? What's going to happen with ELP? So, big into that. Love that all the brawling happened and the whole match was actually only 19 seconds. So funny. Next up was Sonata versus Red Narita. Now, I might cop some flack for this. I've talked plenty of shit about Sonata and what I think about him and all of those things. Rewind through everything I've ever said about him and you'll hear it. But mate, this match, and I know Narita has a lot of promise and all of those things, but these two are a fucking charisma void. Like, together, it was like, where is the personality in this match? And yes, you're fighting hard and you're throwing some hits and you're pointing to your ear or whatever you're both doing, but really, who gives a fuck about either of you in this match? That's how I felt. I was like, yo, this should have been on like second, not first because then people would have gone home, but like second, not semi-main. Like, it was fine, but I need more from my wrestling than just like we're hard hitting each other and doing holds. I felt like there's really very little to hold on to with either guy personality-wise. I might be in the minority there. I might not be seeing something that other people are, but this ain't it for me. I did not care at all. Last up was the 8th match. Everybody was talking about it. Okada versus Ospreay. 17 minutes and 21 seconds. Now, they were saying Ospreay had said, I don't think I can beat Okada in 20 minutes. To me, I thought this time limit lent itself to Ospreay's strengths. Okada's best in the deep water. He's great in those big, long, epic encounters. Like, if you're going to get a win on Okada, you want to knock it out quick and fast. And this match was a closing sequence from the second it fucking started. It was really good, really hot, really heavy. This is the kind of match that if somebody's like, what is New Japan? You could show them this and probably get them interested pretty quick because there's no fucking around. Some great reversals, some good high spots, and the Oz cutter to the apron and some great counters. I loved like the ripcord hidden blade into the Stormbreaker and then into that very serious like tie him up, leg around him, pin, locking him in place. I thought that was really cool. That he wasn't fucking about. It wasn't like a cocky pin. He was like, I am beating this man right now. So that's how it's gone down. Ospreay's managed to vanquish both of his white whales, Kenny Omega and Ospreay, in just over a calendar month, and he's calling out Sonata. So can he get through into the finals? Can he win G1 finally? He's still got that red belt on him, which I feel like is a big wrinkle, but maybe he's taken it with him. Who knows? But it might, at the end of the day, it felt like a very realistic, like, this guy is now front runner in this competition. So no matter what, it achieved what they wanted to achieve. So yeah, I had a really good time with it. Let's run down the fucking stats here. Oh, by the way, whole night was Shaw's with the exception of that Narita, what's his name? The champion Sonata match. That's it. People will be pissed off at me for that, but I don't care. I didn't care about it. Scores. G Wondering scores are currently Travis on 12, Curtis on 13, Amy on 17, and your boy on 22. That is right, motherfuckers. Now, C and D blocks don't do too well for me because my only other dude is David Findlay over in C. So I have quieter nights on those nights, but hey, Findlay just took that loss to Taba, and I think he's going to be pissed about it. So I would be very surprised if he takes another loss in that block. So I'm hoping I've picked the right combination of dudes here to get me all the way through. But with the rules of this current pickems, once you get through into the semis, you get a bonus plus 2 points to your win when you get into through a semi. You get a bonus plus 5 points for getting to a final, and then a plus 10 for actually winning the G1. So really, even if I'm massively ahead, I need to build up that huge lead, because if whoever I've picked doesn't win, then I may not win at all. And to be honest, I'm not all the way convinced that any of my guys will win the G1. I kind of went for a spread of guys that I thought would get the most wins, hoping for that strategy. I figured it would give me 4 people for more points rather than maybe one person to get the most points. I felt like it was spreading my bets. So we will see, and we'll see what happens. So I've been your bad friend, Raffe Houston. I'm doing the intro at the end. See that, Curtis? We're notorious in our show for forgetting to do our intro like until halfway through the show. I'm doing it at the end of my own show. I've been your bad friend, Raffe Houston. I'm one half of the International Wrestling Grand Prix, the Kings of Pod Style, the Okada Shorts podcast. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you have had time. Use that hashtag #GWondering, and let us know you're listening. Let us know that I'm not just speaking to the void, using my precious lunch break, not eating food, starving myself, watching this at all hours for no reason. Are you out there, world? Tell me. Tell me if you're there. Anybody. Otherwise, I'll shut this shit down. I swear to Christ. If you have enjoyed this, if you want to hear our sister shows, you can check out Curtis's dope show, Throw a Dice, at Throw a Dice Pod. Listen to him vamping everything about War Games, Warhammer, Horus Heresy, Marvel Crisis Protocol, Dungeons and Dragons, all the fun stuff he has there. Painting stuff. He enjoys it. He mentioned he's painting up some kind of crew. I have been getting a bit back into it since I met Curtis and things like that. So I've been painting some shit too. Not really sure why I haven't been asked to guest host Throw a Dice Pod sometime and tell you all about it. But I guess doing so many episodes with your friend, he gets sick of you and doesn't want you to come on his other podcast. So that's really rude, but yeah, here we are. Where if you have not had enough of my bullshit, you can check me out at Faces Feels Cast, at Faces Feels Cast, Faces and Feels Pro Wrestling Podcast, where I interview wrestlers from all around the world. My last one was with Aaron Hanare, but I've got some really fun stuff coming up, as well as another very special legendary Japanese guest coming in the coming weeks. So make sure that is signed up to now, so it will drop straight into your feed. And if you like our sister shows and you want to hear our sister shows' hot friends, head over to Count Out Network at Count Out Network, and you can listen to all the other podcasts over on the network. Your Dose of Death from my boy Lauren and Mike. You can hear Ring Post Radio from our dude Ryan, who was on our show to review the AEW New Japan crossover Forbidden Door show. And you can even subscribe to the Patreon, where Okada Shorts has Drop Your Shorts, our bonus show that we release every time we're not doing G Wondering every second of our lives. So you can check that out, and that's only $5 a month, as well as all the other extra content that comes from all the other shows. So you know what it is. Rate and subscribe, listen or die, keep it right, keep it tight, and most importantly, keep it what? Short.
This has been a Count Out Podcast.
So, Curtis.
Yeah, man.
Count said we've got to do an ad. I've never done one before. What should we do?
I have no idea, bro. I ever made an ad before. What do we do an ad for?
I don't know. We just say we're like a New Japan Pro Wrestling podcast, and we just put a bunch of clips like here.
Arguably the most shredded guy. So
Yeah.
you really want to get there too.
Maybe a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Heard that here. Michael Richards calling Jay White small compared to him. Here.
I love it. This picture you've painted for me. I want to hang it up. I want to frame it and hang it up in my bedroom.
Yeah.
We don't have a WWE tryout or a New Japan tryout every second week, and now I'm in Bullet Club.
And here?
Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega. Do you want to just go off about this match?
How do you take or talk about one of, I think, probably the best matches you've ever seen? That's an ad, right?
Yeah, that works. That's brilliant, because then all our work's already been done for us and we don't have to do anything.
Aha, past us did it. Present us living in the now.
Look at us.
Look at
us
that.
being friggin' brilliant.
Mate, minimum effort, maximum output. Okada Shorts podcast. Check it out on the Count Out Network at Okada Shorts. Rate and subscribe, listen or die.